So I was hoping that CSTheApostate or Lucius would pick up on the points I'm about to make regarding itsakr3wthing, which I'm assuming is it's a crew thing. Get it? The 3, it's a E backwards. Dealing with it's a crew thing's response to CSTheApostate. But it doesn't look like either are going to get into the point, so I figured I'd just sit down and make the video myself. Now, I'm painting with a pretty broad stroke here, so what I'm saying doesn't just apply to it's a crew thing, but the general argument a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses use, and some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses use, when people speak out against the Watchtower. You know the argument. Why don't you move on with your life? Or, why do you blame the Watchtower for ruining your life? And why don't you just leave them alone? Okay, so here's the thing. They have moved on with their lives. In fact, I argue the only way you can move on with your life in the Watchtower is to talk about it. Tell the whole truth about the truth, warts and all, so to speak. By not talking about the Watchtower, I feel you, in fact, not moved on with your life. I know what everyone's saying. In fact, I can hear It's a Crew Thing now saying, "Yo, dog, what you mean I ain't moved on with my life? None. I left when I was 13, yo, and I moved on and everything. Know what I mean?" Look at it this way. When you're Jehovah's Witness, you're taught that there are only 2 acceptable ways to leave, right? There's the first one, which is sin and get disfellowshipped, but you still believe it's the truth, and you tell people you made a mistake and you wish you could return to the organization. And the second one is you leave due to some other reason, but then you never speak out against the Watchtower or Jehovah's Witnesses in any circumstance. It's a crew thing. You said you were raised from a toddler until you were 13 as a Jehovah's Witness, and were on your way to become a ministerial servant at age 13 without being baptized. Now, regardless, those are some pretty formative years. I have a habit of biting my nails. I don't only just bite my nails, I bite my cuticles, I bite the skin around my nails. In fact, I bite my fingers until they bleed most of the time. It's a really bad habit. When I was a toddler, my parents would get into some knockdown, drag-out fights, and the only way I dealt with it was biting my nails. Now, no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to get away from this habit in my adulthood. Things you're taught or you pick up in your childhood can follow you into adulthood. Now, the same thing here. You were raised as Jehovah's Witness and taught the only accepted means of leaving the organization, the 2 I outlined before. Not only that, but you were taught to never speak out against the organization. Those people who do are either, just angry about something, or they're not moving on with their lives, or they're obsessed with the Watchtower and trying to justify their bad habits by tearing down the Watchtower. So here we come to adulthood, and you see someone online who left the Jehovah's Witnesses speaking out against the Watchtower. And what do? You revert back to your teachings from a toddler. The ironic thing here is that you're calling out CS for not moving on with his life, when you're still living exactly the way they want you to live. You're reacting the same way they want you to react. You're still under their control. You say you weren't indoctrinated or brainwashed. Well, then the question that's begging to be answered would be, why did you react the same way you were taught, even though you've been gone from the organization since you were 13? Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, "When I was a child, I used to speak as a child, to think as a child, to reason as a child, but now that I've become a man, I've done away with the traits of being a child." It's a crew thing. You're still reacting with your thinking as a child and your reasoning as a child. You need to grow up and put away your traits of being a child. You heard, dog?
You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me. But you turned me on. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped